Hey, hey, hey,
Wait a
hey. Are
minute,
we
somebody ended it. Who ended the broadcast?
nobody, it's showing live right now.
Oh.
Damn, great. Mark's gonna be like, "You fuckers, you can't do shit without me." We don't need him to be validated, Rodney, come on now.
Uh,
Anyway, welcome everybody. You see that we are 3 deep tonight. We are lacking our UK team. So Leah's had something come up. Mark is down on vacation, so he said, "F y'all, I'm not gonna get on." I think he's gonna watch, though. I have a feeling he's gonna come in and stir up some shit. You guys have a feeling?
he already
Y
commented.
Oh, yeah, he's already messaged here, looking forward. So, yeah, we're going to get into it today. I know that we tend to talk about heavy stuff and we talk about growth and all the things often. And so it occurred to me, I was like, why not let's just riff, even if it's just for a handful of minutes, on what if there was no meaning to life? What if we were just born, we come into this world, we die, and that's it? Like, would you you fuckers can't do shit without me. I told you. I told you. So for you guys just listening, Mark is chiming in. Mark will probably be chiming in the entire time. So another good reason for you to come on live. So if you haven't already, please go find us on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell so you guys know when we're going live and you can come on and
W
shoot the shit with us.
Wait a minute, I got a question. So, like, Mark, how are you typing? You can't, because if you could type, you could click the link, brother.
Oh, I've already had an intuitive hit. I feel like he's just trying to test us and see if we're capable of show up. What can
Uh,
we accomplish without our resident MC?
Without the glue. He is the glue.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't noticed, we can't see Rodney, but I do see he's put up a bounty bar in celebration of Mark comparing him to a bounty bar. Oh my god, that is do you have any comments I've heard about that and how funny? People love him, man. Mark, you're gonna be missed. Hashtag he's writing now, hashtag cockwombles. So let's get into it. Like, what if there was no meaning of life? Would you do anything different? And I guess prerequisite to answering that question without, like, getting too much into your personal life, do you feel like you have a sense of a meaning of life? And does that differentiate how you would act if there was no meaning to life? Would you do anything different?
Oh, wow. I mean, it is loaded. I think honestly, I think the meaning to life is like kind of what you make it. And I mean, if you would have asked me, what is this now, 2022? So in 2000 and at the end of 2008, beginning of 2009, my mom, who's sitting right over here, who actually took me to the hospital when I was, when I had to get admitted, and I didn't think I was going to survive anymore. I didn't think there was really any meaning to life then. So, yeah, I guess if it came that there was no meaning to life, I mean, you would still have to live. So, unless you just wanted to end yourself right there.
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
the question is, like, would you do anything different? What did Gail write? Miss Gail Young is here from Ornamentology. Um, has he ever eaten a Bounty bar? I don't think so. We established that we don't have those over here. Is that correct? We don't have
Well,
those. That's a UK thing.
I don't know if it is, but I've never eaten one.
And, official 5 deep.
That's me.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah, you get.
"Hello?"
Don't worry, you'll get better.
I don't
You'll
know.
get.
There's maybe no meaning to life if you've never eaten a Bounty bar.
Look at, you can see my avatar. I'm kind of hanging on there, hanging on to the bounty. You know what I'm
I
saying?
do
So,
where did you make that, Rodney?
Canva. I found
Shout out to Canva.
a bounty bar, and there's this thing called Remove. Was it Remove FM or something like that? And
Mhm.
you can take a picture and remove the background. It's for free, like one at a time. So that's what I took the bounty bar, removed the background.
I know which site you're talking about. I've used it before. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like remove dot something.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it did the Bitmoji. You know what I'm saying? And there you go.
Somebody give us the scoop on a Bounty bar. Is that in there? Do they have them in the US? Somebody hook us up and drop it in the comments. I'm curious to know where those are from.
When Mark described it, it sounded kind of like, what is it, a Mounds bar in a way with the
Yeah,
coconut.
it
That's
does
what
Yeah, it
it
sound like
sounds
that.
like
sounds
a
like.
Mounds bar. And he was kind of accurate. You could see the two colors on my Bitmoji, the chocolate and the white. So I think,
All I all I know is I'm white chocolate, according to Rodney. I think we're all white chocolate except for Rodney.
Yeah, but white chocolate's really sweet, and I don't know that people would label me as really, really sweet.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I don't like white
Well, I
chocolate.
don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Who
I
knows?
would be I would be a little bit sweet, but and I don't want to say bitter, but I'm definitely rough around the edges. There's no doubt about that. So anyway, back to Marta's here. It says introduce. Thank you, Marta, for doing the research in the background. We did not pay her to do this. It says introduced in 1951 in the United Kingdom and Canada. It was initially only coated with milk chocolate and is no longer sold in the US.
Well,
Very interesting.
if I have my camera on, you could see me giving a thumbs down to the first sentence.
Why?
United Kingdom and Canada. I'm just thumbing it down.
Haters gonna hate. Anyway, for y'all, for the record, I love the UK. It's my fave. My goal is to ultimately move over there. So y'all hook me up. So yeah, I'm gonna get back into it. So the meaning of life, like I I don't have any clue what that would be. All I know is I've been in survival mode for most of my life. I have just now in the last couple years really started digging deep into what the life means to me specifically, but not so much in like the afterlife, but more just about focusing on my journey, like what my life experience is every day when I get up. And I think for so long, my life experience was heavy. It was full of strife. I felt very much like I was a passenger in my car of life. I did wake up in the morning and I remember specifically saying to myself, "I hope today is a good day." So there was a big part of me that didn't believe that I had some kind of ability to control how my day went, what my life experience was in any given day. I really believed it was just down to luck. And so me having that thought process didn't really motivate me to do any work in the background. And I think for whatever reason, at some point, and I couldn't pinpoint it down to anything at this moment, but at some point it clicked that I am, in fact, in control of what my life experience is every day. And that just put a real fire under my ass to start learning. Not, I wasn't in a space where I was learning more about myself at that moment, but I was eager to learn how people that I looked up to got to where they were. And in fact, is it true that people can get up and feel a sense of empowerment and feel a sense of peace and feel happiness in any given day? And I think what was contributing to my misery was I was so lost in who I was as a person that I attached myself to the concept of having a partner. And so all my focus most of my adult life went into finding the perfect partner, right? So that I could finally start my life and I could get married and everything would be perfect when I found somebody to love me. Everything would be great. My value would be um my value would be solidified that I'm worthy because somebody decided to devote their life to me, and then everything else would be rainbows and butterflies. And then I got married and I realized, okay, that didn't fucking work. Because I realized like I didn't need marriage to feel like, and it's the damn it's the what's the cliche that, and it's true, like, but everything we need is inside of us. You just gotta suss it out. You gotta find out what action steps to take in your life every day, what boundaries to put up, what kind of a circle to surround yourself that is gonna suss out your best qualities. It's gonna suss out the power that is already within you. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's so true that once you finally realize that your happiness is 100% reliant upon how you move through the world, and it's scary too to get to that point because then you realize, "Oh shit, I've got to make some big changes." And we've talked about it before in the Voxer group. We've talked about it in conversations over the last couple years in our private group that in order to make a change in your life, you've got to have the balls to look at your life and your actions under a microscope. And that includes the people that you surround yourself with. And so what happens if you're in a marriage and it clicks you, shit, I don't want to be here anymore. What happens if you're in a job? Shit, I've been here for 25 years. This is my life plan. I'm supposed to stay in this job and then I retire and then life can start when I retire. My joy and my bliss and all the fun things I want to do, it can start when I retire. But what happens if you start like looking at your life under a microscope and you realize, okay, everything that I believed up to this point on what gave my life meaning and what I was taught was going to give my life meaning is all a fucking lie. And it doesn't align with who I am as a person. What do you do? So I think that that puts people in a very scary situation because it's really hard to remove things from our life that we know are negative. It takes a lot of balls to remove those things from your life. And so, guess what? Most people don't remove those things from their life. They pop an antidepressant, they eat the pie, they jack off to porn, they spend a lot of money on Amazon, they do everything else in an avoidant behavior to not have to deal with the shit that is already currently in their life rather than just deal with it, deal with all the hard shit, and then actually enjoy your existence. You know what I mean? So, like, what are your thoughts on that big, just little mini TED talk I did? Because those are my feelings around the meaning of life or not the meaning of life. That's kind of it in a nutshell for me.
Yeah, I would say it is scary because you are, when you peel back those onions, you are essentially saying that the way you grew up and the things that you were taught as a kid, um, you pushing back against that stuff. And what does that mean if everything that the adults in my life, or some of the things that the adults in my life told me, wasn't necessarily true or wasn't necessarily true for me?
Mhm.
And part of it is looking at what people want for their kids, and actually does that align with what kids want for themselves? A lot of times it doesn't. And even in the cases when it doesn't, kids won't really push back. They'll go their whole life and you have to do this and this, and we've created a bunch of unhappy people who are dependent on, whether it be partnership, um, whether it be a particular type of job or a particular way you save money, like all those things. Once as you develop into your own, you have to figure those things out. And me growing up, was just a short time early on, and maybe into my teenage years, it was kind of like about the afterlife. Like, you know, what are you doing now? And and what you're doing now is gonna affect your ability to get to the afterlife. So growing up, being afraid, and then after a while, I would say once I started to see that for me, that things didn't necessarily happen in order or like they were supposed to. One thing in particular was death. Once I started to see that good people can die, and bad people are still like things like little things like that started to, okay, well, maybe there's no particular order. So it started to change for me early teenage years, but I really didn't jump out the window, so to speak, until I was probably well into my 20s. That's when my mind started to change, and it is scary because again, you're essentially telling your parents and your uncles and aunts and your grandmother that you don't necessarily believe what they believe, and so I think a lot of people would just rather keep it to themselves and suffer in silence. So, me, I can't do that. So, I think
Right.
life is about enjoying. For me, it's enjoying life as best I can. And I tell people all this. I'm always telling people I want to just be better today than I was yesterday. And that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, Howard?
Well, your example that you said of being at a job for like 25 years, and then that's the job you're supposed to be at, and then you'll live when you're in retirement. I dealt with that when I worked at a health club, and I was there for 10 years, and I was offered a chance to have promotions, to move up. I probably could have been like a district manager or something like that pretty quickly, but I turned it down every time. And it goes back to what we talked about before, being in the comfort zones. It was easier for me just to kind of go on the easy path and not take any risks, not take any chances, than the possibility of trying it out and maybe it's not work. And this goes to what you talked about with relationships. It's even though a relationship may be quote unquote toxic, I think it's easier to stay in, or at least we think it's easier to stay into that than it would be to, oh my gosh, I want to be alone. I'm not going to have anybody there. And but then what's the use of a relationship if it's, you're just basically another person just living in the same place, but that's it. It's like, okay, I can get a dog to fulfill that, or or a roommate,
I was gonna
to
say
fulfill
not
that.
quite, but
So
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, let's get into the relationships thing because relationships are a very big part of what gives our life meaning. And it's also a direct thing that can make your life feel like it has no meaning. It's very powerful. There's a thin line between love and hate, you know what I mean? And as I said, I spent my entire adult life up until a handful of years ago thinking that I was so codependent that I really did think, and again, it wasn't conscious because this is all stuff I've learned after the fact, when you find verbiage that matches up with what you were feeling and you feel a sense of validation, things like that. But I would have rather had a warm body in bed with me than to be alone. Because again, it's about a choosing your hard, was it hard for me to have a dysfunctional person laying next to me, and our dysfunction, because I was dysfunctional too. Our dysfunction was together colliding and making all sorts of drama and dysfunction, and but what would have been harder, just being alone? And at the time, I did look at it like it would have been harder for me to be alone, and I hadn't really ever taken that plunge, and it was hard. I mean, I remember one of the first nights I moved out on my own, and it's been, this has been over 20 years ago. I had just gotten out of a relationship. I had just relocated up here a couple years prior. I didn't really know a ton of people. And I decided to walk out of this relationship, and I found this cute little apartment and hanging off the side of the mountain in downtown Asheville. And my mom had come up for a couple days. It was all really fast paced and exciting. And I'd gotten out of this relationship, and I was being celebrated by my mom and the friends that I did have, that I'd gotten out of this really shitty relationship. And, guess what happens when mom leaves? And I'm now left with the quiet. People don't like the quiet. The quiet is a very, very bad place if you are trying to avoid your problems. And so I had made myself a nice dinner. I took myself and my food out onto the porch. I remember it was this big, beautiful salad. I was so excited. I had an ice cold beer. I was feeling really pumped. And then all of a sudden it washed over me like somebody dumped a bucket of cold water on my head, and I was having a panic attack. I started feeling, I'm sure anybody watching has probably experienced it, but I felt like my chest started feeling shortness of breath, and my heart started palpitating. And I just felt well, it's that fight or flight. I mean, that's what a panic attack is. It's a fight or flight. But, if you don't have a giant tiger chasing you, you're stuck with all of those emotions because you don't have any action to take. There's nothing physically to run from. It's hard to run from your emotions. So I sat into that. I put my food down and I immediately called a friend because at this point I'd had a few panic attacks prior. I knew what was going on and I needed her to talk me off a ledge. But once I walked through those panic attacks and I walked through the emotions that I was feeling, and I realized I've moved out, I'm on my own, and I'm still alive. I'm actually still okay. That I realized, like, subconsciously, it hadn't really clicked fully at that time in my life because it was still so long ago. But looking back now, I realized that the more you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and you realize I didn't die, I'm actually okay, the easier it gets to do. And so it's definitely I've noticed that growth is compounding. The more you take a chance, which is the hardest part, taking that leap of faith, the easier it gets down the road. And I'm here to tell about that from the future. Like, I really, really, truly am, that choose your hard, and like really, really look at the scenarios that are going on in your life, especially in your relationships, because we are a collection of the 5 people that we spend the most time with, right? So to look around at those people, and without giving yourself a load of bullshit, because it would be easier for you to do that. What relationships do I have around me? Who are the 5 closest people to me? And are those relationships, conversations, interactions, whatever, are those serving who I want to be, or are they keeping me down? And I look at those shitty relationships just like when the asshole at the public pool used to like to hold your head underwater. That's how I look at dysfunctional relationships. So, I mean, I don't know what y'all's take on it is, but I think that that's probably the hardest thing. It's been the hardest thing for me to break away from connection and relationship from people that I actually really like, but romantically or otherwise, they don't serve who I'm trying to be.
Well, I've
Like,
never had the experience of somebody holding my head underwater at the public pool, but yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's the yeah, just the people you hang, just being a member of this group, just to keep it simple. I have made more progress on Howard's Blend plant-based protein powder with 20 grams of plant-based protein. Hit me up at Howard's Blend on Instagram. I've made more progress on that in the past 2 years that I've been in this group that I had since earliest I remember coming up with the idea, which is 12 years ago. Actually, no, 14 years ago, something like that. So yeah, be
Why do you think that
careful.
is,
Be
Howard? Why do you
careful
think that is?
who. Why do I think? Why do I think
Just
that?
let's get to the nitty-gritty of that. I mean, we say that all the time. I wouldn't be where I am without you. Well, let's give some proof. Let's give some evidential proof. What is it about this group that has made you finally show up?
For me, it's because I see what you guys are all doing, and then it's like, okay, well, if they're doing it, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do it as well. In our own, we're all in different fields, but we all have in common that we're trying to become, as we put in this podcast and this YouTube channel, the best versions of ourselves. Pardon me one second. Sorry, I've been sick, so I got the sniffles.
Okay.
And you guys kicked my butt in this. Like, Howard, what are your goals? Okay, why didn't you achieve your goals? What's up? What's stopping you, or what's in the way? And I mean, 99% of the time, it's me that's in my way, or if it's somebody else, it's my my interpretation, or my reaction to what they're doing. But yeah, it's in the name. We talked before, the accountability. That's what I think the benefit is. And other than some close friends that I have, very few close friends that I choose very wisely, and I've gotten rid of other friends, like what you were talking about, Harmony, or I say quote unquote friends. I don't tell other people what I want to do, my goals and stuff.
And I'm sure a lot of the reason, because they'll be like a bubble buster, right? There'll be a big needle in your balloon of your dreams. They'll just say, well, that's not going to work. And that's blah, 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 blah. And it's like, before you know it, you're disheartened.
Exactly. It's they nitpick, and it's very negative, and it's never positive. Or if it is something positive, they'll spin it to be a negative. Like, oh, that's just, little bit, you made a little progress. It's no big deal. And so I just don't tell them anything anymore. It's like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'm just going to ignore you.
And it's good to have the people around that you can bounce that off of. And so I have a question directly for both of you. And it's, I'd say it's deep, but it does require honesty. That, can you tell when your thoughts are trying to derail you? So in other words, in layman's, can you tell when you're bullshitting yourself?
oh yeah, yeah. Part of it has been easier for me to do um, once I got honest with myself. But part of what I do at work is I'm in a car by myself for sometimes 4 or 5 hours at a time, and you cannot get away from yourself. The things you said, the decisions you've made, um, or the things you said you're gonna do all day in front of everybody. Like, I'm telling everybody I'm blah blah blah. I'm going to the gym. Then I sit in my car and I'm eating some Twinkies. Not, which I don't do. I'm just giving an example. But if I sit in the car and eat those Twinkies, I know. You know what I'm saying? And it reflects in my energy. It reflects in and when you wake up and you feel like shit, and it's like, why do I feel like, oh yeah, you know what? I've been eating like crap. That's why. So you can run from it if you want to, if you like to try to run from it. But in all honesty, that saying, wherever you go, there you are. You can't get away from yourself. So for me, like, yeah, as scary as it was, because in my case, you know, when you start to remove the excuses of why things are not working. So it's like, okay, well, this is not going well because of this person and that person. If I would just have and there was a common denominator in all the situations, which was me. So guess what? Now I have to look at myself, and so I can tell now, And sometimes I cave in. I'm still very human. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? But most of the time now, when I'm being negative, or I'm trying to talk myself out of it, and it's not legit. There's, like you said, I didn't die. Like, am I gonna die if I go and do this? If it's not legit like that, then yeah, I can tell, and I can fight right through it.
What about you, Howard? Can you
Well,
tell when you're
first,
BSing yourself?
yes, I was gonna say that Rodney, when he slips up, he'll soon be having a bounty bar when he slips up.
Well,
Uh,
Gail's supposed to be sending them. I gotta. She says she'll send them.
Oh, do it. Send us some bounty bars, or at least send Rodney one. He can taste it live on the air.
you could hold up the bar next to him and say,
I'll
"For
be
resemblance."
kind of eating myself, right?
What does Mark Jeffrey say here? My life changed when I removed the fear of money from my life. We can survive without money, can't we?
No.
No, we can't survive without money.
Well,
But
I
I
think
like where you're going with that, Mark.
what I got from what he said is we can survive without as much. We can survive on less money than what we think we can.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
If we
for sure.
really just review like what we're spending on and what we're buying. Yeah. But yes,
So
I can tell when I'm BSing myself. And I know that because when I know I can push myself harder, I get that feeling of guilt inside. Like,
Mhm.
okay, Howard, you're letting yourself off easy here. Like,
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for that to share with the world when they watch this, that's the marker. That's how you know when you are bullshitting yourself. You don't even have to have the conversation. Your body will tell you when you're fucking up because it's gonna feel icky. It's gonna feel guilt. It's gonna feel shame. You're gonna be ruminating. You're gonna be doing the what ifs and da 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 da. Da. And we make it so difficult. It's not about a big fucking strategy. It's really, really not. And the more I grow and put the puzzle pieces together, the more I realize, we make it so complicated. And it really is just about putting our money where our mouth is and showing the fuck up. Like it
mhm,
really is just, it's not simple. Trust me, I know. But the fact that knowing that will get you there quicker is huge. So paying attention when you have that guilt and shame, making a mental note, writing it on a piece of paper. Where were you when you felt like shit? Who were you with when you felt like shit? What actions that you were doing or not doing led up to you feeling that way? And take some inventory just like you would your money accounts, it doesn't matter what it is, your calorie count. You can't change and evolve anything in your life unless you're doing some form of documentation, inventory, mindfulness around it. So for you to be able to look at that, Howard, like you could probably, if you had to, go write down 10 things on a piece of paper that are not serving the goals that you're trying to achieve. You know,
yeah.
be scary to do that because it was right there on a piece of paper, like, fuck.
And it goes back to what we talked about with the comfort zones and everything. Do we think it's easier to kind of maintain the status quo, even though it's not serving us, what you said, than it is
Mhm.
to change and actually grow? And then, well, if you don't do that, okay, well, I think to myself, okay, well, then if I'm not willing to do that, how serious am I about achieving this goal, whatever it is, that that having a relationship or something maybe causing a hindrance in achieving that goal. How serious am I about that? If I want to stay in something that is not serving me, whether it be relationship, whatever, so we were talking about that. How serious am I to really wanting to achieve that goal if I'm not willing to do what's necessary in order to try to achieve that?
Yeah, and I think that that's where mindfulness comes in. So if you guys had to gauge, like, can you guys give me an example of something that you would do when your mind is trying to get you to think about your life and changes that need to be made? What would be an example of something that you do to avoid that?
It depends on what it is, but like if it could be something as simple as if you're trying to you know, say you're trying to lose weight, and you just get in front of the mirror. You know what I mean? Walk past the mirror, do the profile, you know what I'm saying? Do a couple of jumping jacks in front of the mirror. Look at that jiggle. And then just, yeah.
Say what you will about that, but that was one of the things that actually got me started down this most recent exercise journey that it's now about to hit 3 years for me, which is hard to believe. Um, but somebody somewhere along my desire to seek out information on how to actually succeed at losing weight and get my body where I wanted it to get was to look at yourself naked in front of the mirror every day as much as you can. Whew, that's awkward when you don't feel good about your body. Oh my God, painful. But just to like really assess your body, you stand there naked, see what you like, make mental note of what you like, what you don't like, but it definitely worked. Definitely worked for me.
Nothing to hide, literally nothing to hide then.
Yeah, if you start looking at your whatever part of your body you don't like and you look at it every day mindfully, the next time you go to take a bite out of something you really don't feel like you need, or you try to flounder about on your movement, you really do start rethinking that.
I feel that way when I look at my calves and I say Mark Jeffrey has big calves and I got small calves.
It's because he walks like 50,000 miles in a day or 50,000 steps in a day.
I'm like, when did you see Mark's calves?
He sent me pictures of his calves.
He did.
Yes, I have to say,
is that what got you in the group?
I was very impressed with his calves. I was like, thumbs up, sir. You got
I'm doing this accountability group and sent you a picture of his calves. It's like, oh,
what kind of side chats are y'all having?
You know what I mean? Mark, you ain't never sent me pictures of your calves.
As an ex-bodybuilder, I gave him respect. I was like, dude, you got nice calves there, man.
Do you want better calves?
Oh yeah. I used to have really good calves before I got sick and I lost a lot of weight, so I had pretty good calves.
What do you do to get them back? What are you doing now to get
toe raises all the time, like heavy weight, high reps, what you got to do.
Do you do a lot of toe raises?
Yep.
How many did you do this week?
This week? Let's see.
It's last week. I'm sorry, it's Monday.
Yeah, I went yesterday, so I did about 50 yesterday. Yeah.
Damn.
But I usually just dumbbell when I do it. I don't put like a bar on my back because it hurts my spine. So yeah, just hold the dumbbell and I do single toe raise because you can focus on each calf. And so it's tough. You get that burning, but I just think to myself, like, what would Mark Jeffrey do? What would Mark Jeffrey do? And I just keep going.
What would Mark Jeffrey do? He would walk 30,000 steps in a day. That's
what
how
I'm saying.
he has.
Like, he did 30,000 steps. I need to do 30,000 toe raises, but I didn't get near that much. So
yeah, that's just such a loaded question. Because behind the scenes, what will Mark? I wish he was here so I could, roast him.
He's here with us in spirit.
I'll see if I can find the picture. I'll put it up I'll put it in the next live stream. I'll put the picture of his calves so everybody can behold the greatness of Mark's calves.
Well, I'm just gonna announce that I'm not gonna be here for that show, and I don't know if I'm pretty sure I'll find something else to do.
Rodney, I think you would be impressed as well. You would say, okay, respect.
Oh, God, that is hilarious that you guys had a side chat about calves.
Yeah, like what was why did you guys stop at the calves is the question.
Did you stop at the calves is the better question.
Well, I won't go as far as to go into
He's stuttering.
Mark Jeffrey's his nickname. I won't go into that. So.
Oh yeah, no, we're not doing that.
No, we would definitely get banned off of YouTube and everything with that. So,
oh my God, that is hilarious.
Yes, it stopped at calves.
I don't know if I'm buying that, but I don't know how that ties into the meaning of life. But
it's important to me to have big calves. So I guess big calves give me a meaning in life. I mean, Harmony was talking about walking past the mirror, looking at yourself, and saying, "Oh, I don't like what I see." I can't really see it in the mirror, so I have to take a picture or something with my phone and say, I don't like the way my calves look. I need bigger calves.
So are you taking the picture while looking over your shoulder?
No, you have to hold the phone to your lower leg.
God. We've really been talking about how can we get the best picture of Howard's calves. Do you have a timer on your cell phone?
I do have a picture that my wife took a few years ago of my calves.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why was she taking a picture
I
of your
think
calves?
it was we were on vacation. I think I asked her to take a picture. I said, "Hey, take a picture of my calves."
It sounds like some kind of he got it on some kind of self fetish,
Okay,
Like,
that's what I was gonna ask you guys. Okay, is there a
Hey,
calf
some
fetish
guys are into
among
feet.
men that is just not talked about, or what's going on here?
I think guys secretly like respect. They won't say it. I will. They respect other dudes who have big calves. They're like, okay, yeah, respect, man. It's like a dude
Is
who has.
this
It's like guy has big arms, like
forearms? Forearms are important.
forearms, biceps. They're like, okay, yeah, respect, man. You hit the gym, okay.
okay.
God, I don't even know how to segue from this. How do I do that? Mark, how would we segue from calves?
Well, what is there else to talk about? I mean, calves are the most important. It gives me meaning to life. So.
And this is how you hold each other accountable.
Sorry. Oh, I
With
didn't mean to
side chats.
derail.
Oh my
I was
God.
being honest, and I derailed the conversation here. So
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, we all have things that are important to us. I mean, I guess if I had to physically, one thing that I would deem important about my body would be my ass, you know, wanting a nice
Mhm.
ass. So that's why I do a shit ton of stairs. You guys will see them on my Instagram. I'm going to do 50 stairs, 50 up, 50 down tonight. And, do the best thing I can do without, getting ass implants because that's never an option.
So what is
Although, huh?
No,
I was gonna
no.
say, like, what is like, what are you talking about? Like bouncing a quarter off of it? No jiggle? Like, what do you mean a nice
No,
ass?
I don't mind jiggle, like, but just having a nice ass, like, as a 46-year-old woman who's, I wanna keep my body I wanna age gracefully, which is interesting because that's what we're gonna be talking about on an upcoming episode of me and Alicia's show is aging gracefully, where's a healthy medium between aging gracefully and then, like, really having concern over how you are physically aging? You know what I mean? Like, just watching my body because 'cause I'll be 47 this year, and so just watching my body change, I jokingly tell people, they're like, "How do you stay motivated? How do you go out into the woods every day?" I mean, there's a million reasons. I enjoy it, first of all. It's like my therapy to go out into those woods. You guys see what I do. I post it's not just about the movement for me, it's about spending time with my dog, it's about, her quality of life, it's about photography. I love taking pictures of all the shit out there that's so beautiful, so it's bigger than just the movement, but I wanna do my best to, like, avoid the Grim Reaper, and if if one thing I can do to contribute to that within my control, it's honoring my body, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit vain, and I mean, somebody look up the definition of vain on Google and post it in the comments. I'm really curious exactly because 'cause I've been saying that for my whole life, and I don't know that I've ever looked up the actual definition of vain or vanity. But I have said that my entire life. I do care what I look like when I go out into the world. I do not obnoxiously so. Like, I will go out in leggings and, like, Rodney says he shuffles about in his sweatpants and his slides. I don't have a problem going out sweatpants, sweat hoodie, no makeup. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not somebody who can't show myself to the world without makeup on, but I do value my appearance and I want to look healthy and I want to, like I said, in a nutshell, just combat aging the healthiest way I know how. Mark Jeffrey comments, "How the fuck did my calf muscles get in this convo?" Well, I don't know. Quit sending side chats with pictures of your calves. You don't have to worry about it being on the show.
Howard brought it up. I don't know.
Anyway, that's kinda it. It's not necessarily that I am gonna start incorporating um, more focus on weight training because I know that as a woman who's getting older, that a way to strengthen my bone density is to do weight bearing exercises. So I do want to start incorporating that. But specifically, no, it's not like I don't need to feel like a hard body. I don't have to look like a hard body. I'm pretty happy with the way my body is. I guess I just want to make sure that I'm leveling up as need be so that I look attractive when I go out into the world. And I mean, who doesn't care what they look like when they go out? You know what I mean? What do we got going on here? Marta. Having or showing an excessively high opinion of one's appearance, abilities, or worth. Quote, their flattery made him vain. That's one way to look at it. So I guess I do have a high opinion of my I guess I place a lot of value in how I look when I go out into the world. Do y'all?
What does it mean by excessively high?
Well,
How would you
like,
determine what's excessively high?
yeah, a good question. I don't know. Like I wouldn't say I look at it as excessively. I don't place a lot of value. I probably did when I was younger though, if I was being honest. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I probably really hyper focused on how I was presenting to the world. Do you guys have any of those qualities? I know Rodney's pretty cash, but
Yeah, I'm casual, man. I mean,
Except
this
for
is it.
going out to dinner, t-shirts and sweatpants. Man, I don't know. To me, it's just comfortable.
yeah,
But
and I think Mark and Lee would probably say the same thing. They're pretty casual. What did Miss Lisa say? Having or showing an excessively high. Oh, okay. She looked up the definition as well.
m-
Thank you, ladies, for doing that.
when I go outside, the ladies run in the other direction. So I figured I'm probably not looking very presentable. So
Maybe you should start chasing them so you get them calves going.
that's a good
Mhm.
point, sir. I have to run on my toes.
That's an opportunity, brother.
Martik posted something here. Having or showing undue or excessive pride in one's appearance or achievements. Conceited. Ooh. Okay, I definitely would not consider myself conceited. So that puts a whole new spin on it. Definitely.
What is it when you obsess over a certain podcast accountability group's calves? What is that definition?
Weird.
Am I vain over my calves? I don't know, but I don't show them off.
Maybe you need to post a picture of your calves in the Voxer group so that we can all see your calves and we can make sure you're staying on top of your toe lifts.
Okay.
See, yeah, there you go, right in the balls. Keep you right in the ball.
No, we got it. To answer Mark's question, I think originally you said, how the F did my calf muscles get in this conversation? That, Mark, since you're running behind on this, since your internet is shite, or however you would say it over there, we were talking about how to, we're talking about getting in front of the mirror, like when you were naked, and then that would make you basically confront like parts of yourself that you don't like, and then maybe take action then to change them, go on a diet, exercise, etc. And I mentioned that my calves were one thing that did that, although I can't see it in the mirror, so I have to take pictures with my cell phone to see it. And then I mentioned that you had very respectable calves, and I was like, they look good, man, much respect.
I think he said he had really nice calves. I don't think he said
Okay,
respect.
he has really nice calves.
Okay, because we can't be,
If somebody doesn't make something in Canva with Mark's head on some giant calves,
It's just
very,
giant
very
calves with
upset.
his head on top. There's no body.
We've gotten too much joy out of calf talk tonight. Oh my God. I've never talked about calves this much in my life. I actually have really good calves. I got to be honest.
See?
I'm happy to post a picture in the Voxer group. I got great calves, but it's just been since I've been going out and doing my running every day.
Yep, that's it. You just got to get out and get to work on them. I'm sure Rodney has good calves, but
Rodney, where are you at in your calf game?
I haven't looked at. I don't look at my own body.
Yeah, right.
Nah, I think I got decent calves, but I could use some work. I need to strengthen them though. I need to get stronger. My lower body needs to get stronger for sure.
Okay, so jokes. Yeah, you don't want to be. That makes me get a visual about this dude missed calf day,
Oh.
lower body day. You've seen the picture with the dude with the big giant, and he's got toothpicks for legs.
Yeah,
California bodybuilder is what they're called.
I'm well proportioned. I just I just I just need to get. I could use a little bit of working out on everything. A lot more working out on everything. Let me say that. But I'm in the gym though, so.
Marta said, "My son is listening. He wants to see the faces behind the voices." Well, he's seen Harmony's face.
Look at the next comment.
Yeah, my camera is not working.
Where's Bounty Bar?
Bounty Bar, where's your face? Marta says, so Bounty Bar, where's your face?
Yeah, I explained in the background, like I'm having technical difficulties. I'm missing pieces, so a little
Okay,
disappointed.
so brings up a good question seriously. Like, how much does your appearance and your value that you place on your body play into your meaning of life, your quality of life?
I would say it's important. And all jokes aside, when you feel
Mhm.
good, you walk a little taller. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you got, it's a difference. Like if for me, like when I shave my head and I trim up my beard and stuff like that, it's a different feeling.
Mhm.
And when you as little as I don't really wear new clothes a lot. So, but the times that I do feel good. So it plays a role. It definitely plays a role.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how people get attached in relationships or complacent, lonely, isolated. That kind of is the first thing to go out the window, isn't it?
Oh, hey, we good now, so I don't need to, I don't need to work anymore. I got you. I got Harmony already. She gonna rock with me.
Oh, exactly. What do you think, Howard? Like, how much does appearance matter to your meaning of life? Obviously, we know your calves matter.
Well, I know I feel better when I and actually take the effort to like comb my hair, part it, shave my excessive body hair off. It's I do feel better. So, and then that can lead into other things. I maybe walk taller, have a better self image and everything. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the big question is, in y'all's opinion, then why the hell do you think it is so hard for people to stay on track with the things that they know would make them feel better? Why do you think it's so hard?
If it's simple as because we talking about weight, you talking about, or are you talking about clothes and everything?
Well, I'm just talking like, yeah, I mean, it's not even about putting on a three-piece suit or a woman putting on a gown and a bunch of makeup. It really just is. I mean, let's simplify it. Just how you feel when you get up in the morning. You can pretty much immediately feel when your eyes open and you become conscious after sleep. There's a feeling that washes over you. It's either good, bad, or you know what I'm saying? So it's not really about like getting dolled up and all that stuff. It's more about like I mean, I feel like everything's rooted in how your body feels. And then if your body feels good, it more than likely looks good. And that doesn't mean skinny. It doesn't mean it's not about size. It's not even about that. It's more just like you're what feels good to you. And when you look in the mirror, if you like what you see, we all have, I know when I was overweight, I would look in the mirror and I could see who I was at that moment with the extra weight. And I'm talking like 20 pounds, just enough to make you feel super uncomfortable with your body. But I could also knew that there was a better version of me underneath that weight. And so really isn't I think everybody's got a place where their body feels comfortable. It's not to me, it's not about numbers, it's not about measurements, it's not about any of that for me. It's where I feel good. And so for me, as a woman, 5'7", I fluctuate between 156, 157 to 165. And anywhere in that range, I feel fabulous. But if I go above 165, I immediately can tell. So what are your thoughts around that is what I mean. Like when you get up in the morning, there's a feeling washes over you, right? About how and it's coming from your self-image.
Yeah, the feeling. Well, I would say why it's so hard is the worst foods taste so damn good, and you get that instant gratification. And you know, part of it's that. Other Some of it is we are walking mentally wounded. You know what I'm saying? We are so many different issues people have, and whether it be excessive drinking, which I've done, whether it be excessive eating, which I've done. We do the things that make us feel good in the moment, and
Mhm.
and we all know that the problems are going to be there when you wake up or what have you. You all know, we know that if you eat more than your intake is more than your calories burned. We know you're going to put on weight. It's a simple formula. Everybody knows it. But when you get in your sometimes when you get in your feelings, or some people just don't care, enough until it becomes, a medical issue doctor wise. You have to take all these pills and stuff like that. So I mean, it's so many different reasons. I don't know. I could say for myself, it ebbs and flows between sometimes I just want to be bad.
Mhm.
Let's be honest. Sometimes
Mm.
I just, I'm just gonna do this and that's that. And I'll deal with it,
Yeah, but you're being mindful of it though, Rodney. I mean, that's the thing. If you're being mindful of the times that you are just like, screw it, I'm going to eat this bounty bar. I mean, like it's, you're being conscious of it. You're being mindful of it. What about you, Howard? Like, what do you think about it?
Was it similar to what Rodney said? I mean, I think that like overeating and then getting obese or gaining a lot of weight, that's not the problem. That is a symptom of something else I think that's going on.
Mhm.
And Rodney mentioned that people were kind of into their feelings and stuff some people when they get stressed out, they eat. And so um, going on a diet is in now you're trying to go against your natural instinct to eat when you are stressed. And it's like, well, you're just trying to treat the symptom. You're not trying to treat the root problem. It's like a doctor giving you pain medication, but not actually finding out that, oh yeah, you have a torn ligament or something like that, and that's what's causing your pain. Let's solve that. And yeah, but in order to do that, that's to find out what the root problem is, that involves a lot of work.
Again,
And
that's kind of the theme, right? Whether
yeah,
you're talking meaning of life or no meaning of life, I think if you put meaning into anything, it's going to require more work. And so it kind of brings me to an interesting thing that you both brought up. And it's something that has popped up in the background for me in coaching conversations with the women that I'm coaching is your relationship with food. And should you be focusing on going on a diet? I'm not a big fan of diets or like and focusing on your like whatever it is your pick of the month. It could be low carb, low fat, I'm calorie counting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Again, I feel like it could be simplified because we all have such a intense relationship with food and people sometimes comfort eat. So when they're sad, they go for the food and it's not going to be a piece of celery, let's face it. Sometimes when people are feeling really good, they go for the food. So it's like, I think that you hit a really good point, Howard, is to not be a band-aid on regardless of whatever it is you're trying to improve in your life. Really, it doesn't matter. Try and go to the root point of the problem, not just the surface level bullshit. Because it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's not really about the ice cream. There's something there that's driving you emotionally towards that ice cream. And what is it? And how do people start doing that? So if you had a piece of advice on like if you've got somebody out there that's struggling with making bad habits or not showing up for themselves the way they need to be or not removing people that aren't serving their highest and best, like what kind of a suggestion would you give somebody who is feeling overwhelmed? They're feeling like they want to change, but they have no way of starting. They have no way to know how to start that process. And as two really down to earth, really grounded men who's been through some shit, how would you recommend that to somebody listening?
I would say, community is like you talked about the 5 people around you, but you have to start taking stock of the people around you and the people that are in your ear. Things that not just the things that they're doing, but the things that they're saying and how that's affecting you and how they look at you, like like when you do have an idea, are they there? I'm not talking about an echo chamber. I mean, but are they there to cheer you on and push you in a positive way? Or are they trying to talk you out of it all the time? Like those type of things. So you want to get in a community. We've all agreed that the things that we're doing got pushed a little faster, got fast tracked once we started hanging out with each other all the time. And part of it was, that community. We all love community, whether it's accountability. You can take something like Weight Watchers, or all those things are groups,
Mhm.
and they have meetings. Same thing with like people getting off drugs and NA and AA. These are community based solutions
Mhm.
where the information is there, like the 12 steps. You can go look up the 12 steps and do it on your own, right? But the fact that you're going to be sitting with a group of people who are struggling too, and it gives you comfort that okay, there are people in this fight with me. Okay, so it helps to be around community. So I would say get into a community of like-minded people.
I
I
love
don't
that.
care. I don't care what race they are. I don't care what gender they are. I don't care where they fall politically. I'm saying like, get around people who are, if you're talking about goals, get around people who are goal oriented.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about, you know, if you want to learn how to get in phenomenal shape and you walked in the gym and you saw, let's say there's somebody like extremely overweight and you saw somebody extremely fit, the idea is to find out, to talk to the extremely fit person. And
Mm-hmm.
so it depends on whatever you're trying to do. Get in a good community and also, just be honest with yourself. Stop running from yourself. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn, that's good. Howard?
There's not much to add. There's pretty much what he was just going to say, is that find people that are looking to grow, and as we talked about, this accountability group, become the best version of themselves. And
Yeah, I've definitely found that in y'all.
because doing it on our own, yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. You have to do it by alone, or you have to do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
And especially like we were talking about dieting and everything. Well, I mean, if somebody who's a compulsive overeater, well, they're not doing it on their own, so they need that help from somebody else, whether your community is like a psychologist or a counselor or something like that, or like what Rodney mentioned, 12-step and everything. And I've known people who have done like Alcoholics Anonymous and stuff. They've done all that stuff before. They're going through the same issue, but they're unbiased. I mean, they don't have, it's not like you're going to a family member or something who, which we learned from this episode, that may not always be in your best interest.
Yeah, it's not.
But
It's
yeah,
just you don't want to shit where you eat.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind
So
of the best way I can put that.
yeah, so I mean, I think Rodney hit the nail on the head. Is just to find a group of people, whether it be one person or multiple people, that you can go to for advice. Going like you talked about, going into the gym, you want to ask the buff dude or the buff chick, what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and not the person who's out of shape.
Yeah, and I think that people underestimate the power of, starting with your emotions, starting with your feelings, starting with the things that you ruminate over every day. And I think it really does help to notate your emotions as they pass. And that means if you're feeling on top of the world, make a mental note of who you're with when you feel that way. When you're feeling your most productive, make a mental note of what you're doing and who you're surrounding yourself with, or what your mantras were to yourself that day, what your thought patterns were, what you ate. I think people underestimate the power of, like, when you eat like shit and you drink, it changes your brain chemistry, even if it's just for a little while. You know what I mean? So we've got some people in here talking. Marta says a meaning of life takes on so many different things and can shift as the seasons of your life change. When I was literally on my deathbed in 2009, I came out of that with a new perspective. Oh my God. Yeah, hell yeah. How can you not? How can you not come out of something like that? And the key is not, and a lot of us can't help it because we're human. That's part of the human condition, is to wait until the shit hits the fan before we decide to make a change. But it is very important to, like, maybe try and make a few changes before a traumatic event happens, before you get the diagnosis, and that's hard to do. That's hard to do. Marta also says, as the years passed, I got complacent, and then I had my son 3 years ago, and everything in life took on a new meaning. Yep. I see that. I mean, yeah, you bring another little person in the world, you get to see life through their eyes, and I think that's really powerful. Mark Jeffrey says, anyone who wants to see my calves, head over to my fans only page. And also, Mark, it's called OnlyFans, not fans only. So
I think
joke's on you, motherfucker.
that's that UK shit. Howard checked out. He stepped out. He left in a private chat. He had to go pick Sam up. So
Okay. See you later, Howard. Thank you for coming. Well, we're at 59 minutes, Rodney. I mean, we don't have the rest of our gang. I'm about to go run and play in the woods. I think what was said was said. We can always embellish on any of the topics that we talked about today, when the guys are all back and we've got our full 5 deep crew. But unless you've got something to round out with, I feel like we had an amazing call and we had some people watching and some comments. I'm feeling like today was a win.
No, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm satisfied with that hour. Let's get, because we got 15 seconds before it's an hour. So let's get at least an hour.
All right. Leave somebody with some wisdom to take on their week.
Some wisdom to take on a week.
Mhm.
I don't know. You know, for me, it's just try to be better today than you were yesterday, and so on and
Yeah.
so forth.
I love that. That's so good. And I agree. Like, just be my advice to take into the week with you guys until we're back next Monday. Anybody watching is just to be mindful of those moments when you feel like shit. Look around at what's going on when you feel bad. Look at the habits that you're performing in your life when you do feel bad or you feel guilt or you feel shame. Use those as tools to improve yourself. And when you're feeling good on the upside, when you're feeling really great and you're feeling, like you're walking on a cloud and you're feeling productive and you're feeling motivated, what things were you choosing to do around those feelings that made that successful? Like there's definitely something that you're doing. And if you can get to the root of what makes you feel like shit and get to the root of what makes you feel really amazing, then you can do more of what makes you feel amazing and less of what makes you feel like shit. Right?
Copy that.
Okay. I love y'all. Thank you guys for coming. Rodney, it was amazing to have you on. Howard, have a good week. Mark, love you. Lee, we missed you. And we'll see you guys next Monday. Make sure that you go find us on at official5deep on Instagram. You can email us. Everything's on screen at official5deep@gmail.com. And please, 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 y'all, share this with somebody who you think might enjoy our conversations, somebody that might be trying to improve upon their life. And maybe having a little community here with the Official 5 Deep crew will help them in some way. And ultimately, I think that that's our intention with the show. And subscribe, share it with everybody you know, click the bell so you guys know when we're going live and you can come be a part of the conversation. And also, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, please send us either to the Gmail or to the Instagram and give us some topics. We will happily bring those up on the show. And I guess that's about it. Until next time, we'll see you next Monday. Bye, everybody.